Welcome back to CAN, Caribbean Affiliate News. My name is Siobhan Gobin. This segment is sponsored by Claire. The U.S. Department of State has approved the granting of non-immigrant multiple entry visas valid for a 5-year period to Cuban applicants who want to travel to the United States for family and other personal reasons. The measure came into force on August 1st. The new agreement to grant a B2 visas expands the 6-month single-entry permits so far established to 5 years for those Cubans who apply and qualify for the visas, said State Department's spokesperson Marie Hoff in a press conference. The approval process will consider each case and will favor only those Cubans who have already visited the U.S. and have returned to the island, officials with the U.S. Interest Section in Havana told the Cuban Foreign Ministry. The new process, however, will be applied under the supervision of a consular official, according to information on the Interest Section's website, which also explains that the measure does not mean that already established requirements to apply for a U.S. visa have changed. Reporters recalled an interview with the Interest Section's General Counsel Timothy Roach last March in which he said that U.S. laws are very specific for those who apply for visas. The applicant must prove his strong links to Cuba and that he or she is not going to stay in the U.S. to work, the official said on that occasion. U.S. legislation suggests that all consular officials should assume that all those Cubans applying for temporary visas are possible immigrants, who, the General Counsel says, admitted that it's very difficult for a young person to obtain the necessary permit to travel to the U.S. He said that many look for better economic conditions abroad, while retired adults maintain stronger links to the island and they usually return. The new U.S. regulation will not affect B1 business visas or combined B1 and B2 visas, according to the U.S. Interest Section, which also explained that those citizens who have recently been granted a single-entry B2 visa will not be able to change it to a multiple-entry one. In Trinidad and Tobago, the Police Service Social and Welfare Association yesterday complained to Acting Commissioner of Police Stephen Williams about the extra working hours of police officers in light of fresh anti-crime measures initiated in the wake of a resurgence in murders. On Sunday, National Security Minister Emmanuel George met with the top brass of the police service as the country recorded 9 murders over the weekend. After the meeting, George assured the new crime plans would curb the murder rate. But when the association president, Acting Inspector Anand Ramasa, and Secretary Acting Inspector Michael Seals met with Williams at the Police Administration Building of Port of Spain for close to 2 hours yesterday, one of the issues raised was the extra hours officers would have to put in to ensure the plan achieved its desired goal. Contacted afterwards, Ramisa said he told Williams 2nd Division officers must be included when anti-crime measures were being formulated because they were the ones who had been working well above and beyond the call of duty and deserve to have a say in such important matters. He said, and I quote, "I made it clear that the association must be involved in any initiative in which terms and conditions may be affected. If what the Commissioner is doing does not affect these terms and conditions, then the association has no problem with this. But if the terms and conditions are affected, then the association is prepared to take a different course of action." Ramisa did not specify what that meant. While the association supported the measure in principle, Ramisa said there must be proper conditions under which officers could effectively function. That, he added, must include support systems for officers who were single parents, proper facilities at all police stations, and proper rostering of duties. He said many officers were already rostered to work overtime. He added, "We are in full support of the police commissioner, and given the state of affairs with homicides, we are in support of the anti-crime initiatives, but we are in support of the initiatives in principle. Our officers must be given the assurance their terms and conditions will not be interfered with and must also be assured that proper support structures were in place because officers already worked under a lot of stress. You cannot have an officer working well over a 40-hour shift for the week." Ramisa said the new anti-crime plans also force officers to be away from their families for an even longer period, and given that schools were closed for the July-August vacation, it meant less time spent with their children. Asked when the association was expected to meet with Williams again, Ramisa said the ball was in Williams' court. He said if the acting COP did not meet with the association in a timely manner, that would be disappointing as the matter must take top priority. The new anti-crime measures are aimed at cracking down on gang activity and the recent spate of murders. The Trinidad and Tobago Guardian understands that while the services of the defense force will be used, police officers will be in the front line of the attack. In Jamaica, Solicitor General Nicole Foster Pusey says a recent court ruling on the lawfulness of stop and search operations by police personnel is not legally binding. The legal advice was reportedly given to the police high command after it requested clarity on the matter. In a June ruling, Justice David Batts said the Road Traffic Act did not give the police a power to stop and search vehicles and they should cease the activity. Justice Batts had ruled that the police could only conduct stop and search operations under reasonable suspicion. But the Solicitor General has reportedly advised Police Commissioner Owen Ellington that the ruling by Justice Bass does not set a precedent in relation to the powers of the police to stop and search vehicles. Foster Pusey says the ruling is a timely reminder that such procedures should always be carried out with reasonable cause and pursuant to a statutory power. The Police High Command says it is again reminding members of the force to act professionally and in accordance with the law when conducting stop and search operations. The Attorney General had previously said the decision was not legally binding as a case of unlawful search was not brought directly before the court. The Independent Commission of Investigations had recommended that the police suspend all stop and search operations until they are sure the practice conforms to the Constitution. In Jamaica, the Police High Command is to meet with the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, to establish compliance protocols following a court ruling affirming the oversight body's powers to arrest and charge members of the security forces. The High Command says the meeting will be used to work out operational protocols to ensure compliance with the law on the basis of mutual respect and understanding. Meanwhile, the High Command is urging members of the constabulary to remain calm and continue to conduct themselves professionally and with the utmost respect for the law. 5 police groups have signaled their intention to file an appeal against the ruling. Chairman of the Jamaica Police Federation, Sergeant Raymond Wilson, says the police groups believe the decision of the Constitutional Court has serious operational and constitutional implications and must be challenged at the highest level. Attorney at law Bert Samuel says while the ruling reaffirming INDECOM's powers is well-reasoned, it deserves to be brought to the highest level because of its far-reaching and fundamental nature. You're watching Caribbean Affiliate News. Stay tuned.